I remember feeling so guilty throwing things out. So I started to be a little bit more innovative about how we were throwing things out and maybe what I could reuse something or recycle something to be. So when I was working there, I would start every time I'd work, I'd have my other coworkers just collect the garbage that, or not the garbage, the plastic that was going to get thrown out. And I would collect it in a bag. And then I was like, I just saved it. I started saving like garbage bags full of plastic, and I had no idea what I was going to do with it. But I was like, I'm going to do something with it because I just felt so guilty throwing things out. And then the pandemic hit. And right before the pandemic, we were doing like the climate strikes, and there was thousands of people out marching, and then COVID hit, and then it was like that all went away, and everyone kind of didn't care as much for the environment, it seems like. And so everyone was wearing masks and all these things, which is good. But I started to feel really guilty again about wearing these disposable masks. So
Right.
I started to my own masks. I started to collect them, and like rather than throwing them out at the end of every day, I would put them in a bag. And then by the end of a year, I had 155 masks saved up. I washed them all. I took all the metal brims out of all of them, and I actually sewed together this full outfit. So I made pants and a shirt. And I remember asking all my designer friends at the time, I was like, hey, can you help me? And they're like, it's impossible. You can't do it. And I was like, I'm going to see about that. So I spent hours and hours and hours putting together this outfit. I had like this patchwork design in place, and I eventually did it. And I released it, I believe, around Earth Day of 2021, which is April 22nd. And I released it with this song called I For One. So the music video for I For One is actually a full time-lapse video of me creating this outfit. And I just really wanted to use it to spark inspiration in people. And so I made that outfit, and it was great. But again, it was kind of COVID, so it was kind of hard to get out there and show it. So I did that, and it didn't get as much recognition as I thought it would. So I kind of just like sat in my house for a bit. And then the next year I put out a musical project called It's Cool to Care, which is a big motto that I've been using recently, because I believe that a lot of our society, especially the creative industry, it's really focused around, ooh, what's cool and what's trendy and what's this. So I'm like, if we make it cool to care, I think that a lot more people would care a lot more about the environment and each other rather than just money and status and image and all these things. So for 2022, I ended up making all that plastic that I collected from McDonald's when I was 16, 17. I ended up making a puffer style jacket that had plastic in it. So I made it with mesh so you could see the plastic inside. And although that's not durable, it was more to show and like make a statement. But the idea was that we could be taking this plastic and put it into like puffer coat material and be, whether it's making jackets for the homeless or blankets, just using this plastic in different ways. So it's not going into the landfill, but we're using it in more creative ways. So I released that piece, which would have been the second piece of, I've been calling it trashin'. So using,
Oh my God.
using like trash or recycled materials in fashion and mixing it together. So I did the second piece, which is the plastic jacket, for my EP release on Earth Day of April 22nd, 2022. And that I did, like, I put together this whole Earth Day event. So there was like sustainable vendors and different musical performances and vegan food and like all these different things, again, trying to make it cool to care about the planet, cool to come together and have discussions and activities around environmental sustainability that doesn't feel so scary and dreadful. I think a lot of times when we talk about the environment, it's like there's a lot of fear connected to it. And when you're in fear, you kind of get a bit paralyzed and you don't really know what to do. You don't know how to move forward and where to go. So I was like, if we can make this exciting, like all these solutions and all these different, bringing together all these different creatives and brands and businesses to create different ways to help the environment, that's more exciting. I think that is going to propel us more forward into more solutions rather than being scared and just avoiding the conversation. So that's where I'm at right now. And for this Earth Day, April 22nd, I'm hoping to do another Earth Day event. Over the past few years, I've been collecting, I buy a lot of like cut up frozen fruit for my smoothies. And so the packages that those come in, I just rinse them out when I'm done, and I've been collecting those. So I haven't made it yet, but I'm planning to sew those all together and make like a vest kind of thing that's going to have a really long train behind it. And so I've just been doing these sort of things. I've been collecting like old wires that don't work. I'm going to make a skirt out of them, like just different things. And then I eventually want to create a collection called like My Footprint, and then show like, yo, this is the garbage that I have accumulated over these years, but rather than me just throwing it out or being embarrassed or being ashamed by it, I'm repurposing it to be something that's more exciting and also gets people thinking about, oh, how can I do something like this, or how can I reuse or repurpose something to make a statement in the world. So
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. There's like so much in what you just shared. First of all, like offline, I have so many ideas to connect with you on. I'm like, this is epic.
Yeah, thank you.
And right now, I think one of the things that you are being a catalyst for change is, like you said, making it cool to make a difference. And so much, you touched on it, which is so much of our society is around these like status, this ego, this like, look at me, and everything's new, and everything's like, it's the newest, it's the most expensive, it's the shiniest. And it's like, it reminds me back in 2016, part of my like spiritual opening, heart opening, like path to actually change from working in film and television to working in nonprofit was I went to India. And I'll remember one day I was driving down a freeway and I crossed a bridge and I thought we were crossing like a huge river because it was such a long bridge and there was such a long gap that I like, because when I saw it from my head, I was like, oh, like there's like a river coming. And I went to look, and what I thought was a river was a mountain of clothes. A mountain, like not a football field, like like it was like like the size of what it would be like crossing the Rainbow Bridge. Like it was so huge. It was like an ocean of clothes, and I was just like, and I was actually in shock. Like I'd never seen something that magnitude in physical proximity to me.
Yeah.
And my friend who I was with, who's from India, would just like didn't even look at it, and I was like, like, can we turn around? I couldn't even process what I had just witnessed. And it was so normalized. And it was actually, looking back, I realized I was actually in shock. Like, it was shocking to me.
Yeah. And it's the avoidance of it. Like, that's the reason why they didn't look. It's the reason why we don't talk about it. It's the reason why we're constantly distracted by all these new and shiny things, because they're like, well, wait, but look over here, rather than, but look right here, what's in front of our face. And that's the whole thing with fast fashion, all these different things.